I took my ex-girlfriend off my insurance policy when she needed it the most. Me and my ex-girlfriend, Haley, have one daughter who's 15. Her name's Ellie. I genuinely don't know if I was right to do what I did. Around 4 years ago, Haley had a very bad accident that ended with her being wheelchair-bound. This caused her to develop a lot of resentment towards me. She would get angry if I worked out or played any sports, so I stopped doing anything physical mostly. We tried counseling for a year and things did not improve. In the end, we broke up. Ever since Ellie was born, I took out a private insurance for me, Ellie, and Haley. This helped out a lot when she had her accident, but post-breakup, I still kept her in my insurance because she could not find any work. And I knew if I dropped her from the insurance, she would not be able to afford any treatment. It's been 2 years since then. We have 50-50 custody, so I don't pay any child support. In the beginning, I kept a very keen eye to make sure that she did not resent Ellie like she resented me. She did not, so I relaxed. She's still on that insurance because she's not able to find any job except welfare. I wanted both Haley and Ellie to be well, so I kept the insurance. Half a year ago, when Ellie came to stay, I noticed that she was very depressed and has gotten very fat compared to before. Nothing like overweight, but Ellie does ballet and I've never seen her put on this much weight. Turns out, Haley forbade Ellie from doing ballet because, quote, Haley used to do ballet and Ellie's just trying to rub it in her face. The same for any physical activities like sports or exercises. With the quarantine, it must have been hell to live like that. Ellie pretty much broke down and said that for the past few months, things have been escalating to the point that she's scared to walk inside her own house. She just stays in her room and comes out only to eat. Ellie just begged me to go to court so that I can get full custody. Ellie's at an age where her opinion matters in court, but it's almost impossible to get 100% custody in my state, unless I can prove incompetency, according to my lawyer. So I dropped her from the insurance and Ellie was supposed to stay with me for the next 6 months. Haley couldn't get a job. She wiped out her savings and she had to pay for all her treatments out of pocket. It was getting to the point that she could not even afford to get basic things for herself, let alone Ellie. I also applied for sole custody. Given her financial situation and the pandemic, and Ellie's preference, the judge gave me full custody with supervised visitation for Haley. Haley did not have a good representation at court due to her financial stress. Also, there's a pandemic going on, and I left an already vulnerable person without any medical insurance. I know I did what I had to do to protect my child, but I did so by taking advantage of the medical expenses of a disabled woman. Ellie is happy. Haley obviously thinks I'm a manipulative jerk. Everyone seems to have mixed opinions, so I need to ask some strangers. Am I the a-hole here? Drop your comments down below. Also, dropping her from my insurance was completely legal. I'm not from the US. So the top comment for this story says this. You're a hero to your daughter, OP. Your wife never moved on with her life. She buried herself in her grief and shoved it into others. She lost her significant other. And now her daughter. Her accident is horrible, but she can't stop others from living life, especially her own daughter and significant other. Guys, I want to know your exact opinion on this story, so drop your thoughts down in the comment section and we're going to turn our attention to an Am I the A-hole story. Am I the a-hole for ruining my kid's life after she ruined a dress? If you're not subscribed to the channel, take a second and hit that button. Here's story number 2. My ex is 31 and I'm a 32-year-old male. We had C, and she's a female 16, way too young. We're friendly co-parents. One big rule we share is our daughter breaks something, she pays for it. Now, Sis is 27, and I are the only grandchildren. Aunt never married. Instead, she worked with Grandma and Grandpa at their seamstress store, and took it over when they retired. Sis's girlfriend, 29, proposed last year. Grandpa offered to make future sister-in-law a custom suit, which she was over the moon about. Grandma had me ask Sis what her dream dress was and record the convo. Sis, thinking it was just between us, told me in great detail what her dream dress was, though said it was way too expensive so she would not get much something cheaper. Well, a few months later, Grandma surprised Sis with her wedding dream dress. It fit perfectly and everyone cried. Sadly, Grandma recently passed away, which hit us all hard. Sis was devastated but decided that the dress meant Grandma would still be there with us at the wedding. The issue comes in with C. She's very large, much larger than Sis. 3 days ago, we decided to go visit Sis and see how she was doing. It was great, but then C asked if she could try on the dress. Sis politely said no, and C made a face but dropped it. Later, we decided to go and grab some dinner. Sis and I went to pick up our orders, but C decided to stay and play along with Sis's dog. We got back and the dress was destroyed. C had apparently tried to get on and pop some seams and got stuck. Instead of waiting for help, she cut her way out. The dress was hacked to bits. Sis was devastated and asked us to leave. I grounded C and called Aunt with some pictures asking if it could be saved. She said no. She said she'd make a new one, but it wasn't the same. Then she dropped the bomb on me. Grandma had hand-sewn most of the dress, used super expensive fabric, and put almost 500 hours into making that dress. Since it was the only family wedding we'd have, in total, the dress cost $12,000, give or take. C has about $15,000 saved from various jobs, as well as winning writing competitions, and this was supposed to help her in college. I took her to the bank and set in motion transferring all the funds, since as her parent I still have control over it. $12,000 to Aunt to pay for the new dress. $3,000 to my sister's wedding as an emotional distress tax. I explained exactly why this was happening to C, but she sobbed the entire time, asking what was she supposed to do for college and saying it wasn't her fault. I told her she could get a job if she did not get a scholarship, and it was her fault for trying on the dress after she's been told no, and for not waiting until we get back for help. A few pop seams could have been fixed. Hacking the dress to pieces? Yeah, that can't. C told my ex, and while she agreed, C was in the wrong after the full story, said I should not have ruined her future for a free dress. I reminded her of our rule, and she still thinks I'm wrong. So, am I the a-hole here? So let's check out this comment. Not the a-hole, absolutely not. She ruined her own future. In my mind, that dress was not $12,000 or $11,000 or $15,000. It was priceless. It could have and should have been passed down for generations. I'm horrified your daughter did such a thing. Most kids don't go to college with savings, so she's just going to have to tough it out. I hope she looks back one day and realizes the payment she made was severely short. I'm so sorry this happened to you and your family. Guys, do you agree that this person should give $15,000 for the dress that she ruined? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And our final story of the day. Am I the a-hole for sneaking out of a restaurant after my fiancé told me to pay for his and his friend's meal? I'm 33 female and have been engaged to my fiance for 5 months. We don't share finances because that's what he wants. I got a raise on my salary. Now I earn 30% more than he does, and I noticed that he's been using this to ask me to pay for him and his friends. Whenever I say no or why should I pay for this, he responds with, "Oh, the 30%, that's why." He acts as if the 30% is unfair or that I'm not deserving of it. Several times he's tricked me to pay for his and his friends' meals by asking me publicly. Let me say that I'm too nice and to say no. I hate confrontation, especially when we're at public places like a restaurant, so I just grinned and paid. Last Tuesday, he asked me to join him and his buddies for dinner. I told him from the start I was not paying for their food and he should not expect me to. He said he got, quote, this and no worries. We got to the restaurant, met his friends, ordered food, and in the middle of the meal, he leaned in and whispered that I would be paying for everything he and his friends ordered. I got so mad I whispered back, no. But he probably relied on me not causing a scene in public and in front of his friends. He said, quote, "You have enough money. You could pay for everyone's food. 30%, remember?" I was fuming inside. Instead of reacting negatively and losing my temper, I waited till the bills arrived. They were already split from the start when we first ordered. I paid for mine, then I excused myself to the restroom. I then snuck out of there, got into my car, and went home. I started getting phone calls from my fiancé, then text messages asking where I was. I texted back saying I did not appreciate how he put me in this situation and basically tricking me to pay for his and his friends' food. I told him I went home, then stopped replying. An hour later, he came and started yelling at me, calling me selfish, irrational, cheapskate, and childish for sneaking out like that, and leaving him stuck with a bill he could not pay. He had to call his brother for help. We had a loud argument, then he walked out. His friends did not speak to me on this, but he told me they're disappointed in my behavior and are telling him to take time and reflect on the type of woman he's gonna be married to. Am I the a-hole for what I did? Is what he's expecting from me fair or justified? This guy seems like an insecure jerk. Just because his significant other is making more money than him now, how does that make it okay to just demand her money? I think it's ridiculous, and OP should get as far away from this jerk as she can. Guys, what do you think about this situation? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, that's all the stories that we're going to cover today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Catch you then.